Hello and welcome to Herman's RV Holidays. I'm Ads, and in today's episode I'm going to be telling you how to drive a motorhome. So the intention of this video is to help out all those people who are new to motorhoming or thinking about buying their first motorhome but are worried about how to drive one. Now, if you already have a motorhome and you have some hints and tips of your own, then I encourage you to put your hints and tips in the comments section below, please. And that will help out anybody new to motorhoming. Okay, so let's start off with the most obvious thing about a motorhome, and that is that they are bigger than a car. They are much wider, they are much longer and taller, and most certainly heavier than a car. So all these attributes matter in various ways for a motorhome. First of all, there's your movement. Acceleration is going to be much slower than you're used to in a car. Braking distance is going to be longer, and you're going to need to apply more pressure to that brake pedal in order to stop. Turning, being taller, when you go around a bend, you actually start leaning out of the bend because you're top heavy. Turning circle. Now, in our motorhome Herman, the turning circle I feel is pretty good, but your motorhome may not have a good turning circle. So I recommend being fluid and have slow movements while you're driving, because one thing you don't want to be having is cutlery flying from the back to the front as you're driving around, because all those plates, all those bottles which are not tied down, are going to be moving around, maybe even falling over. One other thing is visibility. So because you're higher up, you can see a lot further than all those lower down cars. But your visibility is also restricted in certain ways. For instance, the side mirrors. In our motorhome, because it's quite an old one, I don't feel that the wing mirrors are actually curved enough, so I can't see far to the side. Your motorhome might be the same like that. Also, even though we have a rear view window and I can use my rear view mirror to look through it, it's oh so tiny, it's so small and so far away that it's useful, but not as useful as if you were looking through the back of a car. Some motorhomes, and newer ones especially, may have a rear view camera, so you can just switch that on and actually look at the back as you're reversing. And when you're driving your motorhome, you need to be on the lookout for road signs that you're probably not aware of while you're driving your car. And these are road signs to do with height restrictions, width restrictions, weight restrictions, and even length restrictions. I recommend taking a measurement of all your dimensions of your motorhome, writing them down and putting it somewhere around the driving area, such as behind the sun visor, so you can get easy access to them when you need them. And of course, while you're driving your car, you're on a constant lookout for debris in the road and potholes. And it's the same thing for a motorhome, except for the fact that your motorhome is a lot taller, and therefore you could hit low slung branches. So you're going to be on the lookout for those and anything that's coming in from the side of the road that you could easily hit as well. Reversing. Now, reversing is a big thing, because it can be dangerous. You might hit something. So I recommend that you get your partner, your co-pilot out, get them to check you while you're reversing. Make sure that there's nobody behind you and you're not going to hit anything. Even if you have a reversing camera, some people are stupid and will walk behind you. Having somebody there will stop them. Tow bar, you may have a tow bar fitted, or anything else that is low slung, such as your waste pipe, can knock something, even if it was a rock in the floor, in the ground, that you may actually run over. So they can see that and stop you. And it's good to have some sort of decent communication, and if you're the co-pilot giving the instructions, yell, give signals, and just basically communicate and don't get annoyed at each other. Can you tell that we've done that? At some point, you are going to want to park your motorhome, maybe at a supermarket, a place where the bays are all marked out. Your motorhome may in fact fit in a bay. And what we do is we use our overhang, so that's the area from the back wheels to the rear of the motorhome, and we reverse into our bay with the overhang maybe over some grass or a footpath or something, So it gives you a little bit more extra room at the front of the motorhome. One thing you want to do is make sure that you're not going to be blocked in by cars or other vehicles, because you are long, and as you turn out of your parking bay, your rear is going to be moving in the opposite direction, and you're going to basically be cutting that corner. So if there's any vehicles either side of you, then there is a good chance that you could hit them, or maybe if there's a tree there, you can hit the tree or wall. When the weather is really hot and sunny, you may find that some cars actually pull up beside your motorhome because you are casting a massive shadow, a shadow that is going to be cast over their vehicle, so when they return, their car is a lot cooler than what it would be if the sun was blazing on it. Your motorhome is about as aerodynamic as a house brick. And so what this means is when you're driving down motorways or major roads and you overtake, or you'll get overtaken by another vehicle, maybe a truck or lorry, then your vehicle is going to drift in and then drift out of the lane just a little bit, but you're definitely going to feel it when a vehicle overtakes you, because the air of that vehicle is going to be sucking you along as you're driving. Just like a car, you can use all the lanes of the motorway or the dual carriageway. And don't forget that while you're overtaking another vehicle, you are longer. So not only are you going to take longer to get by because of your speed, but also you're going to have to give it a little bit more room because you are a lot longer. SatNavs are an amazing piece of technology. They not only can take you from A to B, but they can also route you around traffic and shorten your journey time considerably. However, there is a problem with them. They don't actually know the size of your motorhome. They are intended for car drivers, really, and so that means they will try to take you through to places that your motorhome, it maybe is not allowed to go because there's signage, or it won't actually fit at all, or is probably impractical for a motorhome entirely. So what I suggest you do is use the SatNav as a tool. You're in control of the motorhome, not the SatNav. If the SatNav tries to take you down a road which you are not allowed to go, or maybe you're not very comfortable about driving down there, maybe it's too narrow, then continue. The SatNav will readjust itself and take you around another route, and the next right or whatever might be a better road for you. Now I do find that SatNavs try to take you through a housing estate, which might be the shortest route, rather than around the housing estate, which might be the fastest route and more practical for a motorhome. So the only way of avoiding that is by knowing where you're going, taking a look at a map and preparing the journey beforehand. So speed limits can be a bit confusing. It really depends on your weight, whether or not you're towing, and depends on what country you're driving in. So for simplicity and the fact that I can't put everything in this video, I put some links in the description below, so check those out for your own motorhome. But national speed limits in the UK for 3.5 ton vehicle, which is not towing, are 70 miles an hour for motorways, which is the same as a car, 60 miles an hour for dual carriageways, and 50 miles an hour for single carriageways. So you've been driving all day and you eventually get to the campsite or wherever it is you're going to be pitching up for the night. If it's been raining, make sure that the ground that you're going to be parking on isn't just drenched in mud. And there's a quick, simple test for this. You get out your motorhome and you basically stick your heel in, dig it in, and if you think that the mud is too thick for the motorhome, just don't park on it. Otherwise, if you do get stuck, you will need to be towed off, and it's probably a tractor that you're going to need to get towed off. Also, make sure that your door side there's plenty of room for your chairs and your awning, because what you don't want to be doing is having such a small area that you're not going to be able to enjoy not having that awning out or the chairs out. Also, will your electric hookup cable reach from the pylon to the motorhome? Last thing you want is the cable not long enough. And before pitching, do you need to fill up with fresh water, or do you need to empty your grey waste water? What we tend to do is when we leave the campsite, we empty our grey waste, and when we come back on the campsite we fill up a bit with fresh water. So once you're pitched up, you're going to want to start moving around the motorhome and opening cupboards and stuff, but make sure that when you open a cupboard, things are not going to fall out on you, and especially the refrigerator, because you have bottles and things that are not buttoned down, and you could end up with bottles or tomatoes all over the floor. So what do you think? Has this helped you with your motorhome driving skills? Have I covered everything? Maybe you have some other advice that you might like to share. If so, we'd like to hear from you, and put them in the comments section below. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up, really does help the channel. And if you found it useful, and somebody else might find it useful, so please do share amongst the social media sites. And until next time everybody, adios and thanks for watching. The SatNav will try to guide you if the SatNav tries to take you down a road which you don't feel is rather than around the housing estate, which might be the quickest route or the most best. Now I do find that housing estate. Thanks for watching our video. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed, or leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe for more video updates, or maybe even watch one of our previous videos. Bye bye now.